Hello, this is Tabletop Odyssey, and today we are bringing another league game between the devious Mah Tucket and the venerable Cornelius Basse. We contest this board with a flank deployment, aiming to plant some explosives in each other's territory. The scheme pool is hold up your forces, outflank, information overload, deliver a message, and power ritual. My frontier crew is going to go wide this game, and I'm going to be taking power ritual and outflank, while my opponent is going to deliver a message to me and start an information war. Information overload. My crew today is going to consist of a large pool of 6 stones supporting Cornelius Basse II, the Badlands sheriff, holding an armor-piercing expert marksman upgrade. He's going to have his daughter Bernadette, the supersonic speedy Louisa Fusi, a pair of rough riders, the draconic Clipper, and Jonathan Reichart for some muscle. The plan here is to rush across the byline and drop as many bombs and schemes as I can as quickly as possible, and then sit on them, forcing my opponent to kill me off them in order to remove them, being aggressive from there in order to limit their own bomb choices to put down. My opponent has brought all of the armor this game with Mah Tucket 2, Mecha Meemaw, with 12 cups of coffee, providing a nuisance. The little lass then toiling by her side, Sparks LeBlanc and his Mechanized Porkchop, a Soulstone Miner, the Rock Hopper, Jebediah with his own Mecha Pig, and 2 survivors, leaving 2 stones to spare. I'm not looking forward to all that armor and the guns here. The game is then going to begin with the miner drilling for a stone before focusing up as the Clipper is going to fly through a dastardly placed trap with Bernadette before dropping a bomb over the byline. Sparks is then going to pack the miner with explosives, interesting choice, before shuffling up the field and failing to command the rock hopper. Bernadette then runs across the line herself, drops a cloud that Basse could use to clear the trap, and then decides to drop a scheme in the corner for power ritual. The Porkchop then goes crazy and zooms forwards to drop a scheme in the centre of the table, along with a scrap to jump to. A bit isolated, methinks. My brown rider then takes a ride up with Jonathan before trying to pop a shot at the hopper, failing. The claw survivor fails to magnetize, so instead rides the rails up and focuses instead. My white rider then takes Basse up the board before aiming his rifle at the Porkchop. A barrage of shots and the red joker with a crit strike on damage later deletes the pig. Ouch. Doing better than I expected already. The hopper then looks a little bit abandoned and shuffles forwards, hopping up the field before moving towards Clipper and focusing, preparing for a little bit of a corner brawl here. I drop a pass token, so Jeb's going to ride the other survivor up and drop a trap in front. Fails to scoot and boot and focuses. Louisa Fusi interacts in my corner for power ritual before claiming the land and using heat of battle to move again. Gotta go fast. The gun survivor is then going to raise his gun at Basse, and through a triple negative manages to smack Basse with a red joker for damage. That's a stone gun for me. The lass can't find her voice rather, so it's up to Johnny Boy to pull the survivor through a trap into melee before smashing him down to his hard to kill. Mah Tucket then moves up and charges the brown rough rider, catching Johnny in her engagement and dealing 2 damage to the rider before failing to smack Reichart. As I cheat, she scampers closer. Basse then charges the survivor and cuffs him to death, but fails to do much else. Turn 1 ends, and I'm looking a lot better than I thought I'd be here. Turn 2 comes around like a jackrabbit, and I won initiative here, so Basse is going to concentrate, spending a stone for armor piercing before smacking a black joker into Jeb. His follow-up shot, though, I do get a little bit lucky. I cheat the tome in, and I get the red joker for damage, which is going to smack Jeb down low. They are smoking hot guns today. Mah Tucket is going to respond by smashing Johnny for 5 damage, dropping him down a hole into a trap. The White Rider sees this opportunity to finish off Jeb, throwing a barrage of shots into him, and he's gone. Starting to look a lot like a normal Bayou gremlin with that demise now. Hopper decides that he's going to go rescue Mah, and he's going to finish off Johnny before he can act. Claw to the face, and that's tough to see. Louisa is then going to meander along the byline and claims the land again, before Heat of battling down to get a scheme and a bomb in the far corner, so I should be able to score Outflank or Power Ritual, perhaps even both this turn. Sparks is then going to command the miner to bury, but sees the black before dashing up to find his friends, as Bernie is going to run and drop her own bomb down for me. That's 3 over the line now. The Gremlin is then going to run after Fusi in protest, as the Brown Rider disengages and runs to safety. The lasses managed to catch him mid-stride, however, dragging him through a pit trap, and the Survivor's going to follow up and put him down. Clipper's just going to focus here, failing to drop a scrap, and the miner is going to go bury. Unfortunately, I'm a hair's breadth away from grabbing Outflank from Louisa. About a 0.1 inch away, really tight here. So it's only going to be Power Ritual and Plant Explosives I am going to score here. My opponent gets 0, so that's 2-0 to Basse at the end of turn 2. Turn 3, and they want revenge, so Mah Tucket is going to throw a bomb over the line and charge down Basse himself. He's going to dodge expertly, however. Clipper wants to deal with Hopper, so charges for a power token and to get into range before throwing a spike down for 4 damage and staggered. She drops a scrap down for the White Rider to draw from before Sparks runs to heal the Hopper, commanding them to ride the rails down to Basse, aiming to deliver a message. It is unfortunately rather telegraphed, however, so Basse is just going to drop down a tornado and run away from Mah before bringing forth his Peacekeeper and sending the Hopper back to the scrapyard, taking 2 bombs and his message with him. My opponent now only has a bomb left on Mah because I've killed Survivors and Jeb as well, so now that's really hamstrung their plans. The little gremlin goes next and plinks Fusi for a point, who kind of shrugs and moves back into the corner, missing her flare back. She's just going to go and secure me Outflank. The lass is then going to holler at Basse through a trap back to Mah's clutches, while Bernie runs back to the corner for Outflank. The Survivor magnetizes to a pit trap, rides the rails, and then runs deep into my half. The miner unburies next to my scheme in the home corner, ready for next turn, as the White Rider draws up, runs in to heal Basse for some damage with his field kit. He then brings forth his rifle and commits a potential war crime here, putting a bullet in the little lass's skull. Turn 3 over, my opponent scores on plant, while I grab plant explosives and Outflank. So it's 4-1 to Basse. Turn 4, and Mah's reds on initiative here. Smacks Basse a chunk, but he's living. Bernie is then going to interact and focus, though I probably should have moved, not reading how the scheme's resolved properly. So I might not be able to get both at the end here. The Survivor interacts, fails to magnetize, and then walks again. Clipper flies in, charges to get a power token, and then tries to hunt down the miner. Though I'm sure I probably could have left it to the White Rider in retrospect. They're going to go and mine for a stone themselves and eat my scheme. The little gremlin plinks Louisa again, who responds by interacting and throwing a flare back at it before charging at it and running it over. Basse then runs out of combat and tumbleweeds away the sprawl of traps and scrap before him before dashing into some underbrush. Sparks rides up and smacks him in the face, but he blocks it. The White Rider runs and misses the miner before dashing to try and replace the scheme. A quick turn there, which leaves me claiming a bomb, and, well, not much else. So it's 5-1 to Basse heading into the final turn. Obviously they cannot catch me now, so it's a matter of cleaning up the board as they make some plays. Turn 5, and the survivor manages to dish out a pair of interacts for future info overloading, while Louisa claims out to drop a scheme far enough away from the power ritual for Outflank, and moves back into the corner in range of it. And this is when I realise that I can't actually get both, because Bernie's going to need another scheme down, and unfortunately I placed the first scheme not far enough into the corner, and she does not have enough actions to put another down. So they're just going to cry and focus up, while Mah drops a scheme marker near Basse for deliver a message, and another bomb down on my side. The White Rider is then going to do some riding, eats a scheme, and then Spark is going to wail and flail while I put my last bomb down, and Basse is tornado away from the scheme to deny the message. The miner drops a scheme down themselves and focuses, but the barrage from Clipper manages first to drop a scheme next to him with vantage point to score power ritual, at least, before deleting the miner from the game. The dust settles and Basse is victorious, 7-3, as my opponent does manage to snag a bomb and info overload while I grab plant explosives and power ritual. Lessons learned. A bit of luck did go my way, but I finally learnt to manage my hand better to make sure I have what I need and save big cards in the hand for damage when I need it. Acting early put pressure on my opponent, and denying the early points from them left the game open for me to win. They learned some things too, noticing how exposed Porkchop was and utilising the early pit traps and scrap shots from survivors can power early mobility better. I really enjoyed the game, and I was definitely an eye-opener. I feel a lot more confident with Basse now, with only one game left of the league with him to go. Thank you to my opponent for giving me a good game, and to Imps Gaming for hosting us. I hope you enjoyed embarking on this adventure, so make sure to like and subscribe for more, and leave a comment down below what you think. This has been Tabletop Odyssey, dodging pit traps all day long.